Grand rising, grand evening, whatever time it is for you. So, this video is going to be for my sovereign souls, those of you who are operating in a space, in a place of full autonomy, full sovereignty. You're a self-governing soul who honors all of your feelings, who takes ownership and accountability for all of you, and who moves and takes action and makes decisions from that space of sovereignty. Now, emotional blackmail. Many of us have been faced with the abuse attempt at being emotionally blackmailed. And so first, I want to read the definition of emotional blackmail, and then I want to share with you all how we can effectively approach these types of situations in the area of emotional blackmail from a space of sovereign love, how to respectfully approach and hold space for the emotions of others without sacrificing your sovereignty or theirs. Because many of us fall into the functioning dysfunction trap of codependency and approaching these things from that space. And it's a easy trap to fall into if you don't understand the intentions behind emotional blackmail and how you can utilize your sovereignty to not only honor yourself, protect yourself, and assert yourself, but also honor the sovereign potential in others, even in the person attempting to use this type of manipulation tactic on you. There's a way that we can approach these things with love, with grace, with respect, while maintaining your innate sovereignty and the sovereign potential in those who are attempting to utilize this tactic on you. And so that's what we're going to be touching on in today's video. And I really hope that this finds those of you who could utilize this tool, this perceptual lens, to help navigate these types of complex and harmful situations and encounters. So the definition of emotional blackmail is: emotional blackmail is a powerful form of manipulation where someone close to you threatens to punish you, whether that be directly or indirectly, if you do not comply with their demands, often creating fog, fear, obligation, and guilt. Common tactics include threats of harm, anger, or abandonment, aimed at controlling your behaviors. So, many of you here in the spiritual community, those of you who are operating in a state of wholeness, in a state of authenticity, I can almost say for 99.99% certain that you have probably been faced with emotional blackmail at some point on your journey. You're living your life. You are making decisions that honor you, your soul, what is in the highest and best interests of yourself and others. You are removing access to yourself from those who are out of alignment with what you want to be experiencing in your now moments. You are doing things that help cultivate inner peace, that inner sovereignty. You have taken full ownership of your body, mind, soul, and spirit, as well as your emotional intelligence network. And so you are moving from that space of sovereignty, of wholeness, of self-governing and self-agency. And while in that process of your being simply being, someone is observing you taking these self-governing actions, making these choices that keep you in alignment, and something that they're observing through their perceptual lens while observing you in your being as your being triggers emotions within them. And so this is where the point where many people can fall into the functioning dysfunction cycle of codependency over approaching it through a sovereign lens. So they're observing you, and there are these feelings that are triggered within them by the actions you are taking through your agency for yourself, by yourself. You aren't affecting anyone. You aren't doing anything to anyone. You're simply being and moving from that space of autonomy and authenticity. And you've triggered some uncomfortable feelings in another. And so they come to you with their feelings and the intention of passing those triggers, the things that were triggered within them while observing you, over to you, for you to feel through, heal through, and placate, so that they can maintain a state of regulation. Now, the moment that you go into agreement, the moment someone brings you, I'll start with this. Feelings are inherently valid. They are valid because they are occurring, right? So emotions are one of those things that are inherently valid because they're happening. But what we do with our feelings, what the process of processing our emotions, that's where people can get trapped in a cycle of functioning dysfunction and fall into a dynamic that not only robs themselves of their agency and sovereignty, but robs the person enacting this type of tactic on you of their sovereign potential. Let me explain. As a sovereign soul, when you connect with someone, when you speak with someone, because you're operating in that state of wholeness and you're operating in that state of sovereignty, you see the sovereign potential in others. And so when someone brings you their triggers, their emotion, neatly wrapped in a gift box for you to take ownership of, for you to hold for them and process for them, feel through and heal through for them, and placate for them, you are robbing that individual of their sovereign potential. You see, emotional processes in our emotional intelligence network, it holds so much potential for the growth and evolution of our soul, right? So when someone brings to you emotions that are valid because they are experiencing them, but then you take on ownership of those said emotions and feelings, and you decide to placate those feelings by shrinking, by changing your actions, your course, by affecting what you would naturally do, for yourself, by stopping yourself, by blocking yourself, by containing yourself, by changing course, by going down a different path. In that moment, you are not only robbing yourself of your sovereignty, but you are robbing that individual of their sovereign potential by robbing them of the opportunity to feel through, heal through, and integrate, their own emotions. You are taking away the ability for that individual to process their feelings and gain the tools, the knowledge, the wisdom, and the information that is gained through that process so that they can sit in their own state of sovereignty and know how to regulate their own emotions, keep themselves in a state of temperance and balance, and you're robbing them of the opportunity to learn that process. You see what I'm saying? So at a energetic and soul level, when someone is emotionally blackmailing you, they are bringing these uncomfortable things that observing you triggered within them, that they themselves don't want to process, that they themselves don't want to look at, don't want to sit with, and they bring them to you, and then you accept it, and you start, then that is an energetic and soul contract that you just made with that person, and therein the cycle of functioning dysfunction begins, because the moment that you take ownership of someone else's feelings, processes, and sovereign potential, that creates the agreement that is going to be your role in that individual's life. And it is very damaging to not only yourself, because that is self-abandoning. It is a self-betrayal to forfeit your sovereignty, your self-agency, in order to take ownership of someone else's. But it is also deeply impactful in that person's evolution of their soul. In that person's, you're essentially robbing that person of their ability to process, and it is through processing, feeling through, healing through, sitting with, and integrating our emotions that evolution and expansion happens. So in that sense, when we do this, when we take ownership of other people's sovereign emotions, that are their responsibility to feel through and to heal through, you're robbing that person of their evolution. You are robbing them of what this earth school is all about. It's all about learning. It's all about, gaining deeper and deeper and deeper understandings of both the world within you and the world around you. And through that process, that is where you become sovereign. That is where, that fractured mirror becomes a whole mirror reflecting back truth, both internally and externally. And so when you accept that emotional blackmail and you change course or shrink yourself or stop and block yourself in order to placate that person, in order to make them more comfortable, you are robbing them of their sovereign right of becoming sovereign within themselves. You're robbing them of their sovereign potential. So it is a lose-lose. Now, a way that you can approach emotional blackmail from a place of sovereign love, which is expressed and looks very different than codependent love. There are a higher percentage of individuals who are more comfortable and receive codependent type love dynamics a lot easier than sovereign love that honors both the sovereignty in you and the sovereignty in another. And so, oops, I dropped my hematite. And so the way that this type of sovereign love, is received it's not always going to be received in the best way, but at least you know at a soul level that you're maintaining your agency while also honoring the agency of that person. You're maintaining your sovereignty and your self-love while also honoring the sovereignty and self-love in another. If someone comes to you or does something in an attempt to emotionally blackmail, weaponize their emotions, to change you, to to bind you, to trap you, to force you to do what it is they want you to do, an easy way to respond to this type of thing is, as soon as that person brings you, their black book, their emotions, you can start by validating their experience, because irregardless of what the emotions are, they are happening. So you can hold space for that. You can hold space for that person's experience and the feelings that they're having without taking ownership and agency of them, right? So what that would look like is, I see that you're having this experience. So have you thought about what you're going to do for yourself to process this? How are you going to, have you thought about, taking some time and some space to meet these feelings you're having from a space of non-judgment and love, so that you can kind of figure out the root where these things are coming from, and so you can feel through and heal through them. What are you going to do with these big emotions? What are some tools and some methods you're going to use to process them? And I'm paraphrasing, but I mean, I'm not sure that I would say that exact thing within, that interaction. But in this way, in framing it in this way, that is you honoring their sovereignty. You are taking the emotional blackmail and you are giving it back to them, because you as a sovereign soul recognize the sovereign potential in that other. And so by asking them how they're going to be processing their emotions, what tools and what guidances they're going to be using to carry out that process of processing their emotions, that is one of the most sovereign, loving things you can do for another person. That is honoring both your sovereignty, but also theirs. The subconscious message that sends to another is, I trust you with you. I trust in your abilities to process your emotions. I trust that in processing your emotions, you are going to reach a resolution within yourself and do what is best for you. You are going to, I trust in your capabilities and your, as a sovereign soul, I trust you with you. And I trust that once you process your emotions, you are going to come to a conclusion or find a remedy that best suits you for yourself. That is reflecting back sovereignty, right? In the same way that you honor your emotions and you honor yourself, right? In the same way that you take responsibility for all of the things that happen within your emotional body, the things that happen in your mind and your soul and your spirit, as well as the actions you take as a sovereign being, someone who does that for themselves, which is the very thing that triggered, the emotions in that other person. You are then reflecting back to them your process. You are reflecting back to them the truth that they have the potential and the ability to fine tune their own emotional regulatory process for themselves. And while on the surface it might not be received very well, especially if the person that you are connecting with is someone who is prone to using emotional manipulation, and that's kind of it, that's just kind of how they go through life, right? Especially if that's someone who is completely disconnected from self, and so they don't like to take ownership of self in any way, shape, or form. These would be individuals that like will come hell and high water, will go through great lengths to escape accountability and escape the mirror, essentially. But irregardless, you will know that on your end, you honor both the sovereignty within yourself and the sovereignty within them. And that you gave back, because the thing about emotions and this earth school and this earth plane is there is untapped potential, right, in us all. And the way that this potential is realized and then can be utilized and exuded, it's not an easy process. It's an uncomfortable process, right? Feeling through and healing through and integrating our emotions, dismantling and surrendering self-limiting beliefs, that isn't an easy process. But because you are a sovereign soul, and so the sovereignty in you honors the sovereignty in others, you trust others. You see that untapped potential within them, and so you know at a soul, deep integral soul level, that they can do it. They can process their emotions. They can find things that work for them. You trust them with yourself. That is a sovereign and self-governing person operating from a place of agency and lovingly and respectfully holding the same I can't think of the word but you're holding the same space you hold for yourself is the same space that you're holding for that individual, and so that is a way that you can approach emotional blackmail. Now, if this person is even safe enough to have in your experience or to have like a face-to-face conversation with, you can use that method that I just shared with you. Now, if it is someone that you have deemed as being unsafe to have in your spirit experience, someone who is misaligned with what you want to be experiencing in your now moment, someone who is detrimental to your sovereignty, your agency, and your self-governing, and so you are like in no contact with these people or this person or this space or this place or this group, you can still hold this truth within you, and so you can still respect and honor people's sovereignty even if you're not in communication with them. And if it is someone that you are in communication with, and so you have the capability or the possibility of speaking to them face to face, then you can offer guidance. You can share your process of how you process your emotions and your triggers, right? You can give them guidance, but it is a disservice to both yourself and that person for you to take on the ownership of that process for them, to feel through it, heal through it for them, to come to a resolution for them that is robbing both you and them of their sovereign right as a human being in this realm, right? So something I like to do, because most people who I don't allow people into my experience or to have access to me that use these type of manipulation processes, because I it's just out of alignment. So what I like to do is share the way that I process through my emotions, and share the tools that I found within myself on my journey publicly. So, so that way I don't have to, or not even have to. That way, I'm still offering, that guidance and that support, and holding a space for those individuals' feelings and emotions. I'm still validating them, but also maintaining my sovereignty and sharing my processes on a public platform that anyone and everyone can access, right? So I don't have to actually allow that person into my energetic field, into my personal space, or into my experience. That's what I do. If that's something any of you have been guided to do, to just share your processes of how you got to that sovereign state, of how you the tools and the things that you've utilized to reach that state of wholeness and sovereignty and self-governing and authenticity within yourself. If you're guided to share that publicly, I think you should go for it. We all have such interesting, beautiful, and complex processes and testimonies, and there's so many people who they could use what you have to share and what you have to offer, because there are, we're all just mirrors here. There are many people who are experiencing things that you might have experienced a year ago or 5 years ago, and they're experiencing them now. And so the knowledge, wisdom, and information and the processes and the tools that you cultivated from that integration process, from feeling through and healing through, your own internal things, they might find value in what you have to share. So if you're guided to share. But yeah, so that is a way, that concludes this video. That is a way that you can honor both your sovereignty and honor the sovereign potential in others who are attempting to use emotional blackmail, manipulation as a tool against you. I know that I've stated that I wouldn't be posting videos to this platform until all of my videos from TikTok were moved over here to my YouTube channel, but I changed my mind, which is my sovereign right. So I will have recent videos sprinkled within, the uploads. I'm still going to be moving my videos from my TikTok platform over here to YouTube, but you will see videos sprinkled, when I'm guided to share a message and, the push is like a now, I'm going to be sharing the message. And those videos, so videos like this, will be titled, they'll start with YouTube exclusive, so that those are more recent videos. They're videos that are in my current archive. So yeah, that is how this is going to work and how I'm going to be operating. I'm still going to be moving my content from my other platform over to here, the short form content, but there will be these types of videos sprinkled throughout. Anyways, I really hope that this video finds who it is meant to find. I want to share something cool with you guys, because I know that I did post a video where I was showing this piece of lapis lazuli I got. Well, I wire wrapped it, and I am a novice, so it's not like anything extraordinary, but I still want to show you guys the piece I wire wrapped. So this is the piece of lapis lazuli, and I don't know if you can see it, but I wrapped it into an an eye. It's like an eye with a, man, I've just been losing words today. It's an eye with a pyramid. That's what it is. Yeah, it's, I don't know if you guys can see it. This isn't the best camera, but yeah, it's an eye with a pyramid. So now I can wear it. I'm really excited about that because I feel very connected to this lapis lazuli. There's a lot, it's the crazy amount of synchronicities that surrounded me being guided to get this was like so in your face. Like it was really interesting, but I love this stone and I'm happy that I had the time last night to wire wrap it. I haven't done that in like a year, so, or not a year, like I think the last thing I wire wrapped was like 6 months ago, maybe. But I haven't done it in a while, and I love anything that can put me in flow state, so that was a really nice experience. But that's the message. I really hope that this finds anyone who can utilize the information I shared in this video. I am sending you all so much love to the universe and beyond, infinitely and always, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!